Hello everyone from TEACHNOW cohort 05 2018. As you know, I am currently in Japan co-teaching in an international school. For this assignment, I have selected Article 26 of the Constitution of Japan, which was created after World War II. Here is today's agenda. I will be starting off with the history of modern education in Japan, thereafter introducing my selected law, which is Article 26. Under Article 26, I have divided them into three parts: equal education, ordinary education, and free education. I will be sharing some ongoing debates on this article and provide key analysis on its strengths and weaknesses in the different areas. First up, we have got history of modern education in Japan. It started in the Meiji period, 1868 to 1912. Education was seen as the key for Japan to prosper as a nation. Government saw the need to quickly absorb and implement the Western ideas, science, and technology. Therefore, during this period of time, Japanese education was modeled after European school systems. However, in 1886, every child was required to attend 3 or 4 years of school. In 1900s, compulsory education was made free of charge. In 1908, the government extended the duration from 3 to 6 years and the textbook was standardized. A 3-tier system of primary school, middle school, and university was established, with primary school being compulsory for both boys and girls. Before World War II, Japanese education is known as the hyper-nationalism. This means students are brainwashed according to the nationalist agenda and taught other races were inferior and the emperor was a god. After World War II, Japanese schools were modeled after American schools and came under control of a highly centralized Ministry of Education. Following the end of World War II, the Fundamental Law on Education and the School Education Law were enacted in 1947. And till today, they still uses the 6 years of elementary school, 3 years of junior high school, 3 years of high school, and 2 to 4 years of university. At the same time, Article 26 is also created in 1947 in the Constitution of Japan. In Article 26, it states that all people shall have right to receive an equal education corresponding to their ability as provided by law. All people shall be obligated to have all boys and girls under their protection receive ordinary education as provided by law. Such compulsory education shall be free. Wow, that is a lot of points in this policy. Let's break the policy into pieces and digest it together. Firstly, let's talk about equal education. What does equal education mean? It means providing its rich and poor students with equal educational opportunities. Each individual will have access to education opportunities irrespective of their economic conditions. There's a common saying that in Japan, you may have poor areas, but you don't have poor schools. Secondly, what is ordinary education? It means students must be educated in Article 1 schools. What is Article 1? Article 1 just means that schools must follow the national curriculum with designated text and a regulated time schedule as decided by the government. Prince Hisahito also receives an ordinary education without any special treatment. All students will follow the regulated timetable every day as shown. Last, free education. Personally, if I was a parent, I would be really grateful for such policy to be in place. However, there are 2 types of schools under Article 1, public school and private school. Students who attend public school that are included in Article 1 has got their tuition fees covered by the government. In other words, it is free. While those students who attend private school that are included in Article 1 will only have partial of its tuition fees funded by taxpayers' money. Alright, this policy would have made sense half a century ago, but is it still relevant in today's education system? What are we exactly preparing our younger generations for? How could the government place it in line with the nation's development? How could government ensure those investments in education would provide exponential growth and returns? So what is happening now? First part of the article on equal education, there is a rising trend of Japanese pursuing a private education from international schools. 99% of the time, these international schools are non-Article 1 schools. These schools are charging 4 times as much as Japanese private schools. This is a worrying issue as over-privatization of schools will risk the right to equal education opportunities which are supposed to be free of charge under Article 26 of the Constitution. Second part of the article talks about ordinary education. There is a current debate on how effective and beneficial is the ordinary education system. One might feel that standardization provides equality. All students, regardless of his family background and school location, are treated the same. With ordinary education, school receives funds from the government to distribute equally and use it wisely. Part of the ordinary education is also having students and teachers to keep the school compound clean. So let's take a look at this video on how students and teachers actually keep the classroom clean.
Zibunたちで自分の部屋を掃除した方がいいと思います。教室がピカピカになると嬉しいし。
However, there are also a group of people who has reservation on its effectiveness. Locals feel that there is a decline in the education standard and the education system seems to be off the path. Those Japanese parents who can afford the international school fees have started to send their children for a global upbringing. Most importantly, this trend is rising steadily. There is also a grey area in this article. As 99% of the international schools are non-Article 1 schools, this means children from grade 1 to grade 9 are not legally allowed to attend such international schools. Only exception from the government are to Japanese students who are dual or multiple nationalities. If this law is violated, there is theoretically a fine of up to 100,000 yen and a warning issued to both parents and the school. However, currently more than half the students at the international schools in Japan are Japanese, and in some schools, especially new ones, almost the majority of the students are Japanese. Although the government knows about it, it does nothing about it. Alright, let's take a look at this video by Asian Boss, who will show you more about what is Japanese education system like.
日本の小学校ってどんな感じでしたか？
遊んでいいのは、本当に休み時間の20分ぐらいだけで、もうそれ以外はずっと机に座っていないといけないっていう、もう座ってるのが退屈な場所。
みんな決まりが1個あって絶対にそれに従わなきゃいけないっていう風習がずっとあったんですよ。例えば、シャーペン使っちゃいけないだとか、絶対
なんで？
理由はわからないです。先生に聞いてもわからないんですけど、もうそういう決まりがあるからみんな従えって言って、でそういうような自分が疑問を持つようなルールがあってもそれを疑わないっていうような人間がどんどんできていくような仕組みになっちゃってるんですよ。
学校に行く以外の時間は何をしたりするんですか？日本の小学生って。
そうですね、例えば中学校受験とかしたい人やと放課後の後、放課後はもう塾に行くっていう生活をずっと送ってると思います。
週に3回ぐらい行ってましたかね。もうそれが嫌でしょうがなくて。
小学校6年生でも学校6時間で放課後3時間やって9時間やったとして、それに宿題加えたらもう10時間超えるかもしれない。
小学校6年生で。
Moving on, I'm going to share how ordinary education has positive effect on teaching standards in schools. With the ordinary education in place, government provided a relatively attractive salary and high barriers of entry and constant review of standards of their teachers. This means that students receive the best educators who are constantly motivated and dedicated to their students' development. In Japan, there's a proverb that goes like this: better than 1,000 days of study is one day with a great teacher. In terms of how the ordinary education has a positive impact on the students' learning process, is clearly shown in the global new numeracy and literacy data. Japan is one of the top countries, placing just right behind Singapore, Hong Kong, and South Korea. Its country literacy rate is as high as 99%. However, there are weaknesses too. Teachers tend to overwork and are tasked with numerous responsibilities which could affect their teaching standards. On the other hand, Japan's education emphasizes on rote learning, theory, and compulsory study, which brings the question of relevance to tomorrow's world. A data shows that Japan has a low level of English proficiency and is ranked 59th of 63 countries for language skills. So let's find out, how did the local students feel about its education system?
日本の小学校ってどんな感じでしたか？
遊んでいいのは、本当に休み時間の20分ぐらいだけで、もうそれ以外はずっと机に座っていないといけないっていう、もう座ってるのが退屈な場所。
みんな決まりが1個あって、絶対にそれに従わなきゃいけないっていう風習がずっとあったんですよ。例えば、シャーペン使っちゃいけないだとか、絶対
なんで？
理由はわからないんです。先生に聞いてもわからないんですけど、もうそういう決まりがあるからみんな従えって言って、でそういうような自分が疑問を持つようなルールがあってもそれを疑わないっていうような人間がどんどんできていくような仕組みになっちゃってるんですよ。
学校に行く以外の時間は何をしたりするんですか？日本の小学生って。
そうですね、例えば中学校受験とかしたい人やと放課後の後、放課後はもう塾に行くっていう生活をずっと送ってると思います。
週に3回ぐらい行ってましたかね。もうそれが嫌でしょうがなくて。
小学校6年生でも学校6時間で放課後3時間やって9時間やったとして、それに宿題加えたらもう10時間超えるかもしれない。
小学校6年生で。
Moving on. Free education for higher education is the current goal in Japanese education system. Schools obtain more funds from government to create a conducive studying environment which allows teachers to excel in their teaching. Furthermore, with the presence of free education, it ensures equality of opportunity between the rich and poor. However, such policy is being criticized and condemned. The attempt to significantly increase education subsidies may create new problems, such as in terms of teaching. Schools will accept students irrespective of their grades, which would result in a decline in academic standards as a whole. Universities heavily reliant on government funds to cover at least part of their tuition may create more room for government interventions in academics. Furthermore, making higher education free without setting academic requirements may result in students going to university who don't possess a strong motivation to study. In the progress, it is important for us to discuss how to avert these possible negative side effects of making higher education free of charge. Alright, we are nearly coming to the end of the video. Just to share some thoughts. I feel that merely ensuring equal access to education opportunities for all would not be enough. What needs to be questioned even more is the quality of education. Let's see, what would a Japanese ideal education system be like for someone in Japan?
としてはどんな教育が理想ですか？
もっと自主的にどんどんと活動していったりだとか、自分のやりたいことを見つけていくような教育にどんどんなってほしいっていうのは思っています。
Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message below. Thank you.